Okay, it's on. Yeah. Since you are live. Come on, you guys. Make sure your phone's on. Come on, you all, man.
Phones off, phones off. Hey, yes we are. Yeah, as soon as you put your mics on, I'll turn you on. Mic up and I'll turn you on.
Look happy, guys. Look excited.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Surprise.
Sorry.
What are we doing? I'm going under my sleeve. No, put it under your
Yep.
Right here. Put it under your sleeve. Put it like between your armpits so it's like less visible. I don't have that much space. Oh, yeah. I got it. Oh, I got it. Okay. You can hold it. What's the high shape? You want to go around?
I don't know. I'm just going to put it in.
Here you go. I got it. I'm ready.
Yeah, KJ, you can either go through your sleeve or you can come over the back, yeah.
I was over here solving the world's problems.
You doing what?
Solving the world's problems.
But we are. You are.
You are.
Maybe you should go on the other end. Yeah.
KJ, test for me.
Unravel the excess so it won't just kind of be bulky under there.
There you go. Test for me.
Test.
Copy that.
You ready to test mine? Yep. Test. 1, 2, 3.
Go again.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
One more time.
Test.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm number 2.
I don't know.
You are currently mic 3.
Oh, I'm 4. Okay.
And I'm what?
2.
And you're mic. Let me see. 1, 2.
This is exciting.
Shelly is mic 4.
See, I don't have my notes with me.
This only for close up reading. Only for close up. I got my notes.
Yeah, I didn't make any notes today.
Oh, I have mine.
I have mine on my phone.
This for close up reading.
I need them on my phone. Oh. What should I do?
Sarai.
Sarai, can you bring my phone from the couch, please? Is it too late? Yes. So are they're
Which
just
side are you gonna be
watching us? 15 people are just watching us.
Hell
That's
yeah.
right.
That's good, guys.
Do we have any people on?
Yeah, we're about to get started.
Yes. We're coming, everybody. We are
15?
coming.
Look at KJ.
All right.
That's a nice spot there. You look good, KJ.
That's nice. Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies, you ready?
So we're looking at the camera, not at the
What
screen.
am I looking at to start?
We're looking,
So if you're gonna look at
It
the camera, you're
moves.
gonna look at this camera.
talking to the audience.
Okay, did you open?
Yes, I will move your camera to you.
Yeah, so
then
if
you
you're
just
gonna look at the
the
camera, it's always this bottom.
Oh, okay.
So and us, we would look at that one.
No,
If we're
so
talking- Show us.
if you ever have anything to say to the audience, right, it's direct, you're always gonna look at this camera.
Oh,
it
gonna
moves.
move. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So what if we're talking and it's not facing us? Does it go by voice?
Well, they're gonna.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna try not to look at that screen.
Right, I know, right?
Yeah.
All right, you ready, you guys?
All right.
Make sure my tatas are not tataing. Did they hear me say that?
Probably.
Oh Lord. Y'all and I got our drink.
All right.
Wait.
Ladies, ready?
Oh, that's from that little rock that KJ had. Like the saying came out.
Oh.
All right. So, breaking news out of Alabama about Carlee Russell. And now we know that she is an idiot, and hopefully they prosecute her to the fullest extent of the law. Barbie is in theaters this week, but I'm not sure you or your kids want to see it after our discussion. Tucker Carlson and Mike Pence had a contentious discussion about Ukraine. We're going to dig into what was asked and, well, actually what wasn't asked and what wasn't answered. The hosts of The View dig into fat shaming, but what about whole culture of rappers like Sukihana and Sexy Red? And Vivek Ramaswamy touts his two-parent privilege while Baltimore's mayor makes another baby mama single mother. And lastly, a Houston woman is detained in Dubai for screaming in public. Was it warranted? All of that and more next. Enemy territory here. Hello, it's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, along with my beautiful co-hosts. We have Yana, T, and Shelly E. And as you can see, we are a little different tonight.
Yes.
So we are live in our studio. So if you guys have been watching us for a while, we used to film in the studio about 2 years ago?
Almost.
Yeah. And so we now have a brand new studio. We are back each week, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. live in our studio. So
We've been busy.
Yeah, we have. We've been really busy.
Oh, I
so
feel like
the
I'm gonna
energy-
cry.
Oh my God.
I know, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Watch the makeup.
So we're all here. We are all here in person. And so we have a great show lined up for you. All right. So as I always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter. We will check the comments throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. You can check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com. Again, that's www.popandpoliticslive.com. And while you're here with us tonight, please comment. We love our super chatters. So thank you so much for people who have done that already. And you can do that again as we film tonight. Share this broadcast, send it in a DM, or post it on your social media. We are independent media, and each time you do this, it helps make our voice that much stronger. All right, we are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. All right, so we're going to get right into it, ladies. Let's set it off.
Woo-hoo.
All right, so starting out with Carlee Russell. So breaking news out today, according to WVTM 13 in Alabama news station. I want to just go through what has been going on with this. So basically on last Thursday, Carlee Russell stated she was driving down the highway interstate near John Hawkins Parkway, and she saw some toddler walking down the street. So she stopped to get the toddler, and she claimed she was kidnapped. So again, she was on her way home from her job at the Woodhouse Day Spa in the Summit. She stopped to get food at the Colonnade and was about 10 minutes from her house, according to her parents, Talitha and Carlos Russell. So again, she stopped for this baby, and then no one saw her for the next couple of days. Family called the police. There was a massive police hunt about this for her. It made national news. So she finally came home Saturday night. So police have not been able to locate anyone with Carlee Russell from the time she left where she was picked up food to the time she made the 911 call. But around 10:40 p.m. Saturday, police said they received a call that Russell had returned home on foot. So today, however, the police released information saying that some really sketchy stuff has occurred. So the initial report, Russell was unresponsive, was proven to be information delayed to dispatchers. I'm trying to see what I have here. So then today, police reported the U.S. Secret Service found there were searches on her phone, which was left in her car after she went missing. She searched terms like you have to pay for an Amber Alert or search. how to take money from a register without being caught.
Yeah. Too much.
Birmingham bus station. She also searched for the movie Taken. Information about Amber Alerts.
So what's all this about? I mean, I already knew it was a scam. I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
It sounded like one.
I knew when I first heard the story. I thought, number one, why has this gone national so quickly, right? And then there was very little, if anything, other than her report of seeing the baby on the highway. And I'm thinking, well, why not more about the baby? And then when I read that she was in nursing school, bam, I knew it.
And what made you think that?
Because nursing school, I figured she was failing some tests or she was failing out and she needed to create a distraction to take the attention off her failing so she would have an excuse maybe to reapply or to retake some tests.
How did you get that from that?
Trust me, I know it has been done. I know from experience, not personal experience, but I know from experience.
I knew that it had something to do with a man. Or
Okay.
Because it sounds like, the Jussie Smollett all over again. And it just sounded really fishy from the initial, she was on the middle of the road and she found a toddler. Like, none of that made sense.
Oh, why? Why do people do this?
Attention.
But it's such disregard to everyone. I mean, did her family know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
did
know.
it.
So far, I don't think her family did.
So there was
parents-
a massive manhunt.
Right. Her parents were devastated. The whole community got up and was looking for her. The police were, spent so many hours and, their resources for this.
Right.
So it's total disregard to people's
Taxpayers' money.
Yeah,
for
taxpayers,
the
yeah.
money,
And
for
energy.
just disregard to anyone.
Yeah, and I saw a headline very quickly a little bit ago because some of the news is still coming out. And the headline said something to the fact that she's claiming or someone is claiming that she was being held by a white man. So again, now we're going to have another hoax. This is the question I have for Black people who like to play these hoaxes, which are absolutely ludicrous. If there's so much racism in America, why do you need to have a hoax? Why? Why do you need to have a hoax? If racism is that prevalent, there's no need to create a situation where you need to blame a white person.
Well, even people who questioned it in the beginning, people were called and said, "Believe all Black women. How dare you question this woman's trauma and things like that."
And now people are asking for answers, and nobody is coming out.
Yeah, what are they gonna say?
So the parents are not saying anything. So I mean, we need to know what's going on.
The last thing that I saw was the parents doing an interview saying, "Oh yeah, she really had to fight for her life.
She was fighting herself.
Fight her life.
She was fighting. She was like Sybil, probably in that room wherever she was, like Sybil, with all these personalities fighting herself. So one of her personalities had to fight for the other's lives. Yeah.
Well, I hope they put her under the jail. I do. I hope they put her under the jail and she hangs herself with a wig.
Is this a criminal offense though?
Yes.
Oh,
the FBI were involved. Yes.
I mean, I hope
Yes.
that she gets humiliated.
Yes.
She already is.
I mean, I do not wish her any bodily harm.
Right.
You're right.
I mean, she obviously is disturbed. I mean, you have to be like you gotta have
Sybil.
People are just they always trying to get ahead. Trying to come up the wrong way is what I think. Because what did she did it for attention.
That's it.
And a lot of people, she needs to be in jail.
And she didn't realize.
And Bebe's baby, whatever his name is,
actually
Baby
have
Newton is still walking on the interstate with dirty drawers, dirty pamper. Nobody's found him yet.
She made the whole thing up, and not only and what upsets me is she put a lot of people on. A lot of people were scared because when you hear about a baby on the highway and this person is still at large, then you get nervous. Like, I don't want to be out there if this
They
person's
also
kidnapping.
thought that this was a ploy to get her. So the baby was like a bait, to get the woman to come out, and they thought that there's someone doing this to lure women.
Yeah, the thing is that when I thought that initially, I'm thinking like, okay, all these cars in an interstate, like people are seeing this baby. How is it that she was the one that saw it and stopped out of all the cars?
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it did.
And this is just goes to show how mental illness is running rampant in these streets right now.
It's
Because
not mental illness. I don't believe it's mental illness.
it has to be some bit of something is not right.
She's
Something's
a
not
con.
connected.
It's a con. It's a
Yeah.
grit.
Well,
Whatever.
what's also interesting, every time we've seen this on TV, whenever they would say if a Black person is missing, they would say nobody cares.
Right.
But actually, this proved the opposite. A lot of people came out.
Mhm.
The
Of course,
community came out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
they're
was
upset.
Alabama.
national news.
Wow.
So actually, it proves that there is not that much racism when it comes to
Exactly.
people
And the community
missing.
is upset. They want answers. They want some type of.
And now they're just being quiet. It's ridiculous.
Well,
Yeah,
cue
the
the
family is-
NAACP and Benjamin Crump. So
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't
Well,
talk
we will
about Benjamin
continue
Crump.
to, monitor this story. More is going to come out, I'm sure, in the next couple of days, certainly by next week. And we'll continue to look into it and keep you guys abreast.
and
of
if y'all
what's
see
going
that baby,
on.
please pick him up.
It's just terrible. All right, we're moving right along to the new Barbie movie. So the new Barbie movie is set to come out this weekend. I believe they're tomorrow or Friday. But it's another opportunity for Hollyweird to push their trans agenda with a side of radical feminism and communism to youth. So you guys have seen the early synopsis of the Barbie movie. One of the main characters is a trans woman, one of her sidekicks. His name is Harry Neff. So he is a man who identifies as a woman. I want to read to you in a recent interview with Out magazine, Neff confirmed that the movie is an exploration of femininity and sexualization with a clear, gross agenda in mind to push sexuality onto children. He says, it's candy with a little poison, and that's what I like. That's what he told Out magazine. He also says, as much as there's a celebration of femininity and being a girl in this movie, I think there's also an encouragement of letting go of the checklist we subscribe to living your life and being in your body, your way, on your own terms. This is Neff in Out magazine. So, I mean, would you take your kids to see it, Shelley?
No, I would not. I think, first of all, the preview that I saw, it just looked stupid, period. Even if it didn't have a trans agenda. But no, they are, again, the left is corrupting everything. Barbie, in her own anorexic self, has her own problems. But now we had to add in this transgender confusion. It's foolishness. It's a waste of time. It certainly would be a waste of my money, which is not going to be because I'm not going to see it.
So what's your thoughts on this, Yana? I mean, I was a huge Barbie fan.
Me too,
I was
yeah.
I mean, a lot of girls were.
Barbie, good
It's
for
really
girls.
sad, actually, to know that this has happened. And you mentioned something about communism. Well, we didn't have Barbies when I was growing up. And actually, they started to come out when I was like in second grade. At least we knew that they existed. And so it was like a dream to have a Barbie. We had only one girl in my class of 23 who had a Barbie. And like everybody was so jealous. So this was like a sign of, this promise of capitalism, of a better world.
Yeah.
And so of course it's even now, like when I see the Barbies, it's like, I feel like a little girl.
Yeah,
So
that's what the movie was supposed. People thought it would be nostalgic. It would be something you could share with your girl.
So they destroyed that.
Yeah,
and
that's what they do.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah.
They are good at destroying. If the left is good at anything, it's that they are good at destroying, and certainly destroying anything that's good and just honorable. That's what they're good at.
And for you guys who may not know, Yana she grew up in Belarus, and so which is a country near Russia, and so that's what she was explaining about her childhood. I want to get your thoughts, T, on this. I mean, are we overreacting about this?
Oh, heck no! I blame the feminists. This is what y'all asked for, and this is what you're getting. The effeminization of society all throughout. It's not just this movie, it's all the movies. And then transgender, they're taking over everything anyway because they have money in their pockets, I guess.
Yep.
But they've been bought. Hollywood has been bought.
And taking women's spaces where Barbie was something for girls, it was very feminine. And now there's a dude who is a Barbie,
Right.
Dressed up.
Yeah.
right?
Other
Right.
issues in the movie include little girls smack their baby dolls in the movie and say girls don't have to be mothers anymore. So again, we see this. Another attack on the patriarchy is another.
Well, that's an attack on the
quote.
matriarchy.
Well, no, this is what they said
Yeah.
in the movie. And then Ken is the villain, and Barbie hates Ken in this movie, which is so yeah. Barbie's Simu was okay, yeah. So I mean, this is what it is. I mean, they ruined everything.
Everything.
And now you guys have heard about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They're doing a remake of that, and they're kind of lefticizing it as well. So now Snow White is a Latino woman, and the dwarfs are adults in every ethnicity in the world. So
yeah,
I mean, I feel like people cannot take kids to watch anything at this point.
Right. And that's the thing. This is Barbie. Of course, children and girls want to watch this. So they're taking over our children.
Right.
They're getting in the minds of their children. It started from the story hour, and now they're here in our movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And
this is why independent movies and theater news. This is why independent is important, so that we can take our children and families to see the classics and enjoy them for whatever the moral lessons, the tales, whatever's in the movie. So again, the left is going to destroy. This is what the left is going to do. Independent movies, theater, news, that's where it is.
So, but a couple of things, I'm just thinking of parents and children. So a lot of parents are not aware of they haven't really analyzed it. They just saw maybe an ad for the film, and their kids are saying, I want to see it. Right. So they're going to take them.
That's why you got to show them our broadcast. Right. This broadcast would be very helpful for people. Show them our podcast here, our web show, so we can let them know, and you let them know what's really going on with this movie and the movies like it.
But I have another question for people who have kids. What do you do when the kid is really begging to see it, and you don't want to take him or her?
Say no. I mean, who's the parent? Who is the parent? This is not even just about a movie. See, this is what I have. This is what I get irks me. When you have parents or adults, of course children are going to cry and throw tantrums. That's what children are supposed to do. When adults do it, it's a whole different story. So parents can say no. It is nothing wrong. Kids need to hear the word no sometimes.
Or
it's fine.
Or just like when you have toddlers or 2 or 3-year-olds, when they're doing something bad, you distract them with something else.
Or you let them shout and pout on the floor and walk away and leave them the hell alone.
That's my point when I'm saying that you distract them with something that is better quality and that's more in line with what you're trying to teach them.
Or you ignore them and leave them there and let them throw tantrum. You keep on going what you're doing.
Well, remember, this is
PG-13.
Right, this is a PG-13 movie, so we're not talking about
so it's over 13.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but I'm just thinking that this is what they're doing. They're pinning parents against children.
Yeah, that's
so these children are going to view it as something desirable, and if their parents are against it. So it's
so
really...
but to your point, I hear what you're saying. I understand, but in every era, parents have always had to say no, whatever the boundaries are. So it's not just this movie. Yes, this culture is very, intrusive and everywhere. But parents have always had to be and should be parents. Period. Whatever the era is.
It's just still sad.
And I have to
sad. You take your kid to see your Barbie movie.
It's sad.
It's very ruined everything.
And it does. I have to say, it makes me think of Marxism.
I can't.
It makes me think of, so back in beginning of 20th century in Russia, we had anti-church movement. So the government was against the church and were literally blowing up churches, killing the priests, and they had all these slogans and marches again, and they were saying, don't follow your grandma to church, go to the government school. So it was very much very similar. They were pinning the old generation against the new, and it was that Marxist approach. So this is kind of similar. I'm seeing the similarity here. It's that pinning that the children should not be listening to their parents.
Right.
That's what they're
Yeah,
trying
this is
to
not
push.
new. You're right. This is not new.
Speaking of Russia, that's what we're going to talk about next. We're talking about Ukraine.
Mm.
So moving right along, last week, Tucker Carlson and Mike Pence had a contentious exchange at the Blaze TV panel discussion. So take a look. This is a clip here so you guys can get an idea.
Our national interest in you.
Do we have that?
What Pence is? Where did Pence come from in the first place? Where has he been?
He's running.
But let me say to you, our national interest in Ukraine.
He just came from nowhere.
Well, we're good.
Well, we can read. Maybe we can.
But let me say to you, our national interest in Ukraine, I believe, is born of the fact that I spent 10 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the House of Representatives. I spent 4 years as vice president. I've met Vladimir Putin. Let me tell you, if Vladimir Putin overruns Ukraine.
Okay.
Well, we will then. I can explain it if we don't have it. No, that's fine. So basically, Tucker and Pence got into it. Oh wait, do we have it? Oh, we do. We have yes, we do have a super chatter. Thank you, Frank. So Frank says there, can you read it?
Hi, ladies. I agree that independent film like Sound of Freedom is the future. But as an independent producer in Hollywood, it keeps getting tougher to when SAG strikes for more money.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about
The actors strike.
right,
Like the actors
the
and the writers
writers
strike.
and actors strike in Hollywood. Okay, yeah, and that's actually a good topic we can talk about maybe next week.
Thanks, Frank.
Because that is a big strike going on, and I wonder how it affects other things. So thank you so much, Frank, for the super chat. So we're moving on to Ukraine. So Tucker Carlson and Ukraine got into a heated. I'm sorry, Tucker Carlson and Mike Pence got into a heated debate over our role in the Ukraine war, our meaning America's role in the Ukraine war. So basically it was a question of what Tucker, of course, is not a fan of us being there. Mike Pence is, and they really went into it about what are our national interests in Ukraine. I want to start with you, Yana. We don't have the clip to show, but that's a good question. What do you believe are America's national interests in Ukraine?
Well, it seems like there's some personal interest of politicians in Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine was being used as a place to have biolabs, to launder money. So I think there are many individuals who are very much interested in Ukraine. Also, there's this irrational fear of Russia in the West. And even though Russia has tried to build alliances and have allies in the West, but that was just not working for some reason, then NATO kept on moving closer and closer to Russia. So once Russia has responded, now Russia is seen as an aggressor. And so, and also people are not telling the truth. Well, Tucker has been telling a lot of truth. Pence, with some of the things, I don't know if you haven't mentioned.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
One of the questions was about the church, right?
Well, I didn't want to get to that quite yet. What I would like to talk about is what Pence said. I want to get your thoughts on this, Shelley, about how he said that one reason why we have to stop Russia is because if we do not stop them in Ukraine, they will then go into other countries in that area and other NATO countries.
So I don't have as such a affinity kind of feeling for Russia, all cozy and warm like maybe Yana does to a degree, because I do remember, at least I remember from history, that the U.S. and Russia have always been two superpowers, right? And so they do have two different value systems. I'm still going to start with Russia. Putin invaded Ukraine unprovoked. There was no provocation. I'm going to start there, number one. Number two, when Pence was asked about our national interest in Ukraine, or what was the national interest to Russia, to America, I think Americans, we need to understand, particularly conservatives, it should not be an either or. It can be both and. Does that mean we're doing well on the domestic side? No, it does not. We're not doing well here, and we should have more focus here. However, if we are going to, we helped Ukraine sign an agreement, I think it was 1994, that they would get rid of their nuclear weapons, right? So Ukraine joining NATO or not, maybe that's going to have to be the agreement that they come to stop this war for whatever. Fine, if they do that, that's fine. But that does not mean that Russia is this this big warm fuzzy teddy bear that does not need to be checked, because we have another country that is also backing up Russia. It's called China. So what we don't do, just as when we poorly acted in Afghanistan, the rest of the world is still watching us.
But let me talk about that, because you brought up China, and this is something that that Tucker did say. The war has somewhat caused Russia and China to become more of allies.
And the sanctions also.
Right. So aren't we pushing them to?
So no, we're not pushing anything. We still have to. We are not looked at as courageous or valor on the world stage. We are the laughingstock of the country. I would give you that, but that does not mean we do not have a foreign interest or international concerns around the country, particularly for a country that we supported in giving up their nuclear weapons.
You still have not said what those national interests are. That's my original question.
We are supporting Ukraine as an independent sovereign nation to have its own country. That's it. That's the national interest.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying there's no corruption.
Are you done?
We don't do one.
It's always about money.
One or the other.
So
what happened?
And we don't have any business over there. To me, this all reminds me.
Let's play the clip. We actually have the clip available now, so let's do that.
I believe is born of the fact that I spent 10 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee in the House of Representatives. I spent 4 years as vice president. I've met Vladimir Putin. Let me tell you, if Vladimir Putin overruns Ukraine, I have no doubt that in a short period of time, that Russian military is going to cross a border of a NATO country that our armed forces will have to go and defend. You know, I started the day this morning at Rosie's in Zionsville, Indiana, with my son, Captain Michael J. Pence in the United States Marine Corps. My son's a fighter pilot. My son-in-law is a Navy fighter pilot. And I'll tell you what, I never want to see American armed forces in Ukraine. I want to give the Ukrainian military what they need to fight and repel the Russian invasion. I think we need to stop them there so that our men and women in uniform are never called upon to stop that Russian military when they cross a border that we would have to defend.
So you would oppose?
So sacrifice Ukrainians. That's what I hear.
Sacrifice
Ukrainians. That's what I hear. When I hear this is very infuriating.
How?
Because, well, he wants to be involved in this conflict, but at the same time, he says, give weapons to the Ukrainians, have them die.
So they don't have the weapons, they'll be slaughtered without any defense for themselves, period.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear that. So no, you can respond, of course, but if you have no weapons, regardless of not whether you support Putin or not, so you're saying that Ukraine should not even try to fight back?
Well, let's hear you respond, Yana.
Well, half of Ukraine doesn't want to be part of Ukraine.
Whatever, with the part that does want to fight back.
So the human beings that are there, he doesn't care about.
I'm not worried about whether Pence cares or not. I'm talking about the Ukrainians.
No,
should they not defend themselves?
Yana is saying
I'm talking about Ukrainians.
Should they not defend themselves?
I am talking about Ukrainians.
Should they not defend themselves?
Which Ukrainians are you referring to?
Whichever one. Should they not defend themselves?
Ukrainians who do not want to be part of Ukraine.
Let's say the ones
you're talking over me. So half of Ukraine, well, a big portion, I would say a quarter.
Whichever
Now-
part, should they defend themselves or not?
I want to go.
Now, also, you've said something many times that Russia has invaded Ukraine unprovoked.
That's what I say. I've been saying that for maybe
Just
a year or more
because
now.
you repeat that over and over doesn't
That's
make
okay.
it true.
What do you mean? Ukraine didn't fire any missiles into Russia for them to come into their country.
Okay, so Shelly's saying Ukraine didn't fire missiles.
Now, what if a country plans to put missiles or actually put warheads on its border, and there's
Poland has NATO missiles there, and there are other NATO.
Ukraine is not a
There are other NATO countries that are around Russia. So whether or not Ukraine joins NATO is not the point to me. The point is that I want defenseless people to be able to defend themselves.
Me too.
That's it.
Me too. Now, who is going to defend defenseless people on the east of Ukraine who have been slaughtered by Ukrainian government?
Ukraine, they can handle that inside of Ukraine. That's two different things.
Now,
Russia went into Ukraine unprovoked.
Now, another thing you said is that Russia and the United States have different values.
Yeah, they
I
do.
disagree.
Okay.
Because America has gone to many countries to defend their citizens against their tyrannical government.
Against who's? Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
For example, Iraq.
Okay.
Where U.S. has entered Iraq.
And they had different values too.
Hold on, you're talking over me.
Yeah, they had different values too.
Why are you talking?
I'm not going to get into why. I'm just talking. I'm not getting into why.
Is it because a Russian person cannot have an opinion about this?
You sure? You can have your opinion. You have it. I have mine. We just differ.
I understand that, but why can't I have the?
You can have it. You have your opinion.
Finish,
You have your opinion.
Let her finish.
I mean, that is exactly the issue that the world has with the United States. Is that people are not being listened to.
Oh my God!
I can hear you if I want, and I don't have to.
We can have World War III because the United States does not want to listen.
This is America. You're right. First Amendment. I don't have to.
America's gonna
You're
grow
right.
up
I
into
don't.
peace.
The land of the free, the home of the brave.
However, we do have to have a conversation.
That's the
so
whole
each
point.
person should speak and be quiet while the other one's speaking.
And listen.
So one thing I would like, so you were saying something about, Shelly is saying that Russia invaded Ukraine unprovoked. Now, you don't agree with that?
About the values. So I started with the values that the United States has gone into many countries to defend their citizens from a tyrannical government. One of the examples is Iraq. Then there's another example with the Taliban. We have been fighting the Taliban for so many years, still haven't been able to fight it. Now, Russia has done this with Ukraine. Ukrainians have been.
So you agree that they have done it?
They have started a military operation. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I'm not denying the facts that there's a conflict, there's a military conflict, but it was not unprovoked. Okay. There were people who are being slaughtered, children. There were people who are being burned alive in buildings. You can roll your eyes, but that was happening. So you do not care about those Ukrainians. You only care
I
about
want the Ukrainians to defend themselves. Period. That's what I said.
They have been.
No,
but the U.S. has helped their allies, and so there's a republic within Ukraine has declared independence. Russia has accepted their independence.
Russia did not invade Ukraine until about a year and a half ago, give or take. He had not done it.
Asked to come there by a republic within Ukraine. They were invited there to help them fight the Ukrainian government.
Okay, so let me make sure. I just want to make sure I understand, and then we'll move on. So you are saying that within Ukraine, there were two factions. One area, which is pro-Russia, was being slaughtered by the Ukrainian government.
That's what internally,
right. So those people, those Ukrainians asked Russia for help.
Yes.
And this is why Russia invaded.
That's one of the reasons.
One of the reasons why. I see what you're saying. So you disagree with this, Shelley?
Again, Russia went into Ukraine unprovoked. I'm going to repeat what I said again. Russia went into Ukraine unprovoked, and now we have this war. How it ends, I don't care if Ukraine decides not to join NATO, if that's going to stop it, but I do want Ukrainians to have defenses to defend themselves.
But you don't care about the Russian Ukraine.
I'm not going to. Please. I just said I want Ukrainians to, because that's a moot
saying.
point. I just said I want Ukrainians to defend themselves.
Yes.
Don't tell me what I do or don't care about, because I'm not going to get into an emotional, I'm not getting into an emotional argument about this.
Emotional.
No, I'm putting my point. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. All I'm saying is that it was unprovoked. All I'm saying is that it was unprovoked. And I want.
Are you done?
All right, we do have to move on. We have to move on. So, you know, again,
we
this
all
is
just
something
move
we
on?
always go back and forth on. We talk about Russia and Ukraine. We do have a super chatter here that I would like to acknowledge. So let me see here. Okay. So conservative libertarian journey. Thank you so much.
Who is that? It's a
Super
new one.
chatter. So he says, so they say here.
Love you, ladies, conservative beauties. I love your opinion. Who's more dangerous, establishment Democrats or progressives? So he's talking about a different
Progressives.
Okay,
My
establishment
response
Democrats.
would be progressive.
Aren't progressing.
All right. So we are
Degress
moving
together.
right along to The View in our segment, which we call the counter view. Yes. So The View this week was talking about fat shaming. They've talked about this multiple times before. Take a look at this clip.
Should? I'm saying people, like every celebrity, you read your aggregate news, it's like, who's on this drug? Are they on the... Every day, that's all I read about. People are obsessed.
I thought we moved into body positivity. I mean, you have the Lizzo movement. You have all these, and I'm not just pointing her out because she talks about it so much. I think we're
and
pretty...
she recently said that she was thinking about leaving because even with all that positivity, she was getting
still
trolled.
getting
Well,
so much.
if you think we've moved, somebody needs to tell Donald Trump, because when he's not fat shaming meatball Ron DeSantis, he's fat shaming Chris Christie. And I mean, frankly, as somebody who has struggled with her weight all the time, I can tell Donald Trump, you got to be careful who you fat shame.
Yeah,
brother.
but the thing about it is that women's bodies are always up for discussion, it seems to me.
Yes.
I remember when Oprah lost weight a long time ago, was, and her numbers dropped.
when she
Her
brought
ratings
the
dropped.
big wagon out with the meat in it?
Her ratings dropped. That was interesting. In other words, a lot of women don't want to see you losing weight, maybe. I don't know.
Women are held to different standards on virtually everything, and weight and image is obviously one. But I also remind people that beauty standards change, and that's why what I love about the body positivity movement. It's not just like big is good, skinny is good. It's what is you is good. I think of like the heroin chic in the 90s. I don't know if I can say that, but like heck is that?
No,
Yeah,
those two words do not go together.
I know,
Oh,
that's what it was called. Also, like some people are actually born thin like that, but some of us are always going to have a chest and backside.
But you know,
like
you know
that's
what?
not
There was a
good.
time when people were really poor in the world somewhere, and the obese people were revered because that indicated that
Roman
you
times.
were eating and you were not
All right.
poor. When the poor
All
are
right.
revered, then skinny is revered. That is a sociological observation.
All right. So that was The View. Again,
I couldn't really understand.
what's the
What
point?
were they talking
they're
about?
talking about fat shaming. So they have been talking about fat shaming. Multiple episodes. They talk about women being fat shamed. It's like almost like they feel fat, like they just got some personal agenda with it. I don't know, but my question to you guys is: okay, fat shaming is wrong. We do know this. It's wrong. They brought up Lizzo, who always talks about her body, and a lot of times this fat shaming comes from them talking about their bodies. But one thing I want to talk about is we don't hear them talk about anything else. So one of the things that we don't hear them talk about is this whole culture. So this sexualization of women that we're seeing. Oh, what? I don't know. Anyway, what happened?
We're live in the studio.
What happened? I don't know what you said. Yeah, go ahead. So we're talking. So they always go on and on about fat shaming when we have a situation going on right now with the culture and with these women being pervasive and overly sexual and things like that. Take a look. We have a clip here. This is rapper Sukihana
In London.
in London.
I'm trying to get my coochie stretched. I'm trying to get my coochie stretched and eat a nigga ass. We be eating nigga ass today in London.
So we have to interpret this. We need a caption.
gosh.
She what she said was, I don't even know.
I gotta get my coochie scratched.
You know how
Scratch.
You know how to get.
She wants to go get some sex. Basically.
I thought
So
she said
she's
stretched.
She's getting. She said that before also.
Oh,
she's just getting off of a flight. She's just arrived in London, and this is what this nasty woman says as she gets off of the plane to everyone, people in public's disgust. And this is not a one-off.
No,
not for her. Her videos, everything.
But this is Black culture. I'm sad to say, yes. This is what we see. This is what is put out and bought and pushed all across TV, all across videos, movies. This is what we see. And it's disgraceful.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to the fat shaming first. All those ladies on The View are full of shit. Let me tell you why. Because they had an actress, I forget her name, the heavy girl with the show on Netflix about her weight.
Oh, thick
as something. Yeah. So they had her on there, and all of them were basically lauding and giving her all of these praise and things. What they're not doing, they're not being honest, okay?
Right.
Because being obese is not cute. It really isn't. To people who are struggling with their weight, yes, we hope that you're doing something healthy, trying to lose weight. Maybe we all could stand to lose 5 or 10 pounds. Fine, but to sit there and put that girl on that, give her that false hope that fat is okay and this is my body, none of them on that View would get that big. They won't. Now Whoopi, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Whoopi has her own cushion.
She's been bigger.
Yeah, so that's a different story. This girl right here, whatever her name is, what's the rapper name? Sukihana. Totally embarrassing. In every culture, right? In every culture, there is a subculture. With Black people today, the subculture is now the culture. Right. And this is what the world sees. We are not taken seriously, not in America, not on the world stage. We are, I'm going to use what I've been saying, we are the minstrels of the world. We are the minstrels on the world stage because all we do is show our ass literally and talk about getting our coochies scratched in your booty hole. What is it? Whatever the song is.
I can't.
The 10th, I don't know where we are. We are squashed because now the counterculture and the subculture, the degenerative subculture is now the culture. And this is what Black people are represented as. And this is why the world sees us as the minstrels that unfortunately we are.
Yeah, even on Sukihana's video, the video we just showed, the ladies were standing there like
embarrassed.
What's going on? They don't even know. They have no idea what's going on. However, this is what we see. This is what people in the United States and all over the world, this is what they view as what Black women are. Yeah, they want to talk about how we're over-sexualized, but these are the things that they're being shown.
But this is what I'm talking about, and no one's talking about it. So we talk about it. We call this type of culture and this type of what do you call it? Inappropriateness out, but The View doesn't call it out. No. The Breakfast Club hasn't called it out. Oprah's not calling. They're not calling these things out.
And then when they try to, like India Arie did for the Meg Thee Stallion show or whatever, she tried to call it out, and everybody wants to cancel her.
But then they all talk about fat shaming. Everything's about fat shaming.
And about fat shaming. So Lizzo, she's elevated as this ideal woman, but then no woman would want to be complimented saying, "Oh, you look great. You look like Lizzo." Yeah. Like no one wants to hear that.
It used to be Monique, the comedian, but she lost weight because and they're delusional because they know damn well that this fat and obesity is not what they want.
Right?
Yeah, they're gonna try to lose weight at some point because it's not even healthy.
But it's just like society is it's almost like we're regressing.
Yeah. We are.
Yes, we are. And then today on the news, Jason Aldean, I believe that's his name, has been all over the news. He's a country singer, and he has been ridiculed and critiqued and criticized because of his new song called "Small Town."
Right.
So it's actually not new. It's
been out since May, I think.
Right. It's been out for a while, but the video just came out today. And here are the lyrics. I don't understand what the issue is. It says here, to the folks who need the money but won't sell the family 40, keep telling that suit and tie no. To all them hidden county liners, little mom and pop diners, keep telling big money where to go. I mean,
I don't understand. Like, what is he talking about?
He's talking about the small town values that basically America was reared on, and then how we're losing that. And a lot of the things we see happening today, the crime, the corrupt, wouldn't have happened in a small town because you have the community there, the family there. Those are the values he's trying to get back to in that song, which country music does a lot of that in general anyway.
Country music is, you know, they have a lot of same stuff that Black music, hip hop, and R&B have in it.
Yeah, but if you listen to the lyrics, the values are very community.
Why are they blocking this one though? Like, what's
they're saying that his song is talking about lynching and shooting people and
like
they're saying that the song is talking about the riots. So they're making fun of the BLM riots, and like you said, there's one. It says, well, I didn't read the whole thing, but there's one part in here that says, "Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up." Well, that's, I guess he's saying shit might fly in the city. So he says, well, that shit might fly in the city.
He's contrasting small town with city life.
Good luck. Try that in a small town.
In the video, in the music video, it does show like BLM riots and them, you know, burning the city. So him saying,
and they were
right, but they burned the city and their area,
right?
They're not.
And he's saying that couldn't happen in a small town because number one, a lot of people in these small towns, they have guns and they will defend themselves and their property. He didn't lie. It was nothing he was lying about. But yet his song gets canceled or pulled off of CMT, right? But the niggers and the bitches and the hoes and the pussy pinks and all that stuff and eating coochies, that sells, flies off the shelf.
Literally, Sukihana has a video with women are eating themselves out. Like, I'm assuming they're all strangers.
Women, how do you eat yourself out?
I mean, women are eating.
I'm just asking. No, I'm just asking.
And scissoring.
Each other.
They're eating each other out and scissoring and all that stuff on a music video. It wasn't even a porn. It's a music video.
But
this is what
it's an agenda. Right. I mean, it is an agenda, and we have said this before that Black people happen to be trendsetters in the culture. So you know, we see a lot of artists in the Black community. So of course, artists are used by these very suppressive individuals who want to suppress the culture, and so they actually leech over from these artists, and they're handling them. You know, this whole thing about
it's like the avant-garde
handlers. You know, they basically control them, and to push whatever agenda that they have, and they do not want to see a society that is thinking, that is
that can't be controlled.
Exactly.
This is why we have such a hard time. This is why we have such a hard time. Not so much getting our message out, but when we are seen, we have to kind of overcome. Like, no, we're not the hoes, right? Yeah. We're not the coochie pinks and whatever color they may be.
Do whatever you want to do in your own bedroom.
But we have to get over that, because these are the people who represent, when they see us, right? Women of color or people of color, whatever, brown and black, whatever they call us. We have to get over that mentality first, because in their minds, I'm saying they, like for the world, they equate all of us with this foolishness.
Well, I got a lot of flack when I said a couple weeks ago that I no longer identify with the Black community. I said that because
as it's shown.
No. And Shelley and I have been going back and forth about this. Sukihana, Sexy Red, Cardi B, this is the Black community right now. This is what they're putting out there as the Black community. This is what we uplift. This woman's talking to what's his name? Biden. Sexy Red was in a school giving money this week. Everyone's praising her. When you said something negative about it, they talk about you. This is the Black community that we see and that's pushed and that's supported. Right. I do not identify with that.
I was at a parent focus group last week, and the subject of over-sexualizing and how teenagers look like, you know, we have fuller bodies and stuff and we're being over-sexualized. And I brought up the point because this is what we're seeing. This is what they're doing. And these people, had the nerve to try to justify it and make excuses. See, this one lady said, "Well, when we were in Africa, this is how we were dancing anyway." And I'm like, we're not in Africa, first of all, and why are you justifying and making excuses for
twisted?
It's
And
tough as
also-
you ever.
Yeah, that's the justification. Yeah, I mean,
That's
but
what I'm talking about.
we also, you know, people in all continents did all kinds of stuff. It doesn't mean that we have to keep doing that. There were people were sacrificing human beings in this continent.
When we were in Africa, we were twerking. That's a part
Yeah,
of our
I mean,
nature.
I hear what you're saying.
That's
like,
what-
you know
no,
what I'm
she's
saying?
saying what they were saying. That's what the
Oh,
lady
and I
was
hear what you're saying. Like, you're right. All cultures have done dance, sex. They are universal, right? Nothing wrong with those. But we have devalued it. We have debased it for what we're doing. You and I had this discussion. You're right, and I said, well, maybe KJ, maybe they're just extremes, right? Remember we had the discussion, and KJ was like, no, and I said, well, you know what, KJ, you might be right. And I've been saying for about a year, something is wrong with Black people.
Been that.
And also, if you want to keep going about in Africa, there are people were getting married even back then. They would dance. You know, maybe there's a celebratory dance, but they would get married and have children. And you know, a woman would not be doing this, you know, and sleeping with a whole bunch of men. That was, I mean, if she knows about traditional cultures, that was not okay.
And we're not in Africa.
Right.
So,
And if Sexy Red, she went to the school and gave out bundles of money and whatever. I know that's with the people I saw in that picture. It was predominantly, if not 100% Black school. I bet you Sexy Red would not have gone down to Calamora. She wouldn't go to Martha's Vineyard and do that crap. You wouldn't do that there.
They don't even know
all
what
this
is.
lauding from she wouldn't go to Oprah's place in Chicago or wherever she lived. Wouldn't do it there. See, they would run her ass out. Well, first of all, she wouldn't even come in there. But they can do it to where these black towns and Black cities are, where these students are sort of just let loose and live however you want, and that's why she can get away with it there.
And it's justified.
Yeah.
But that leads us to our next topic, though, because we were talking about, as you mentioned, you know, families and ideas of families, and this takes us to here in Baltimore, Brandon Scott. So, you know, our mayor Brandon Scott announced this week that he is having a baby. He has a baby.
Oh my God!
Someone, local woman here, local woman here. He is not married. He is not married to her. Well, she may be married. Allegedly, she's married to someone else. But anyway, I want to juxtapose this next to Vivek Ramaswamy, who was recently at the Blaze TV Summit, and he talked about what his privilege is in America. Take a look. This is the clip.
You know, my parents came to this country with almost no money. I've gone on to found multi-billion-dollar companies. And then people tell me, oh, that's because you had privilege. They tell me white privilege. It's sort of weird. It's sort of an interesting, it's kind of interesting.
Do you tell them?
As I take the blindfold off, and now you have your answer. But the interesting answer is, actually what I do tell them, Tucker, is that I did have privilege. I didn't grow up in money. But I had two parents in the house, a mother and a father, with a focus on education and a faith in God. And you know what? That is the ultimate privilege. That if I'm going to enjoy that, every kid in this country ought to enjoy it too.
What should be the role of race and privilege in this election?
I mean, I think Vivek hit the nail on the head. And the way I say it often is that the most privileged people in this country are children being raised by two married biological parents in a loving, low-conflict home. Point blank, period. Across gender, sex, race, religion. I think that should be the foundation of all conservative social policy. So, and when you combine that with, you know, the notion that men particularly are responsible for the children that we create. I mean, Tucker didn't really touch on abortion that much with Vivek, but again, this is one of the issues that comes up, right? So much.
All right. So we're live again in the studio, so got a lot of stuff going on, but want to get right into it. So you saw how Vivek talked about his privilege.
Yes. That is a privilege.
And this is, again, Vivek Ramaswamy. He's running for the as president for the Republican side. And this is what the conservatives are talking about. They're talking about families. We're talking about two-parent households. He said where God is the focus. We're talking about this, but they're not talking about this on the left. Prime point, Mayor Brandon Scott. So he announces he's got a baby on the way. He's not married. He isn't married, this woman. But this falls in line with their push on gender ideology, sexualization, independent woman. This is what they push.
Right.
And this is why our communities are failing.
Well, he's a Marxist, obviously. So I mean that is something that
I can't.
been teaching that there's no need for a family. So he's actually, I believe he thinks he is morally right, that this is the way. If this woman is actually married to someone else, like that is even better from their perspective, because now they can all raise this baby together. This baby doesn't really belong to anybody. And so I feel sorry for this child.
I'm excited that he actually, well, I mean, we all thought he was gay, so I mean, he didn't have anyone. So this could be a beard baby and a beard woman.
Oh my God!
To cover up. But I
We're
can't
all in one bed.
So this is why I said I called it Hannah's baby, Brandon's maybe. Because we don't know yet. I mean, I guess we might not ever know if he's claiming the baby as his, fine.
Michael Jackson, baby.
If he's claiming the baby is his, fine. You know, that's good. The baby will have a father. But I said, and I what do you call it? I messaged him on his Facebook page and I asked him, you know, babies are good. You know, that's a good thing. But are you going to marry this woman, or are you going to contribute to the 70% out of birth wedlock baby birth rate for Black people?
Oh, I'm sure he didn't answer. He never answers questions.
Right.
So,
but it's an honest question. Yeah. And this is what we're seeing in our community.
They don't care though.
And this is what people are supposed to look up to.
Right.
Like, so he's the Democrat leader, the leader of Baltimore. So Baltimore is already failing to begin with, and now this, and you know, like this is normal for them. So they would never fight for family if this is what they're doing.
Well, they call this. I mean, he would call this. I'm guessing he probably called this as his family, right? It's a child. That's his family. His whatever son or daughter, whoever's going to be. But the thing is that he is promoting this, like you said, as the mayor. Look at our city now. What do we have? Most of the criminals are fatherless, right? They don't have any training from home. They don't have the education that they need. This sets them up. Most of the people in prison, the Black people, 70% or more of them have no fathers or did not have contact with their fathers. So he is adding to this and he's promoting it as if it's something good. Again, another part where the subculture for Black people is becoming the culture.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, their key word is reimagine. So he's reimagining family structure, which can look like practically anything at this point. It could be a dog. A dog can be your mother.
But it used to be a subculture, as you mentioned. You know, the culture used to be mom and dad, you know, raising a family, get married. And once you get married, mom and dad have a baby and you raise a family. And now we're seeing this subculture of this single mom's baby mama become the culture.
Right. And I remember, I don't know if this was some video we watched at some point, because there was a Black person, a man, who someone asked him about this, you know, the traditional culture, having a wife and kids. And he said, oh no, this was about gender roles.
Right,
it was about gender roles. And he was like, I'm not white to have gender roles.
Right.
How is this a white idea?
That's another thing that's pushed on the left. So they push this narrative that this type of family, mom, dad,
the nuclear family,
married, is a white thing. Is call it, was it
white supremacy?
White supremacy.
Yeah.
This is white supremacy.
It was in the Smithsonian during the BLM riots. They talked about this. They promoted this. But this also, Brandon Scott, in a way, reminded me, talking about celebrities in this culture. Nick Cannon, I don't know how many children he has, but again, this is something that's looked at and lauded, right? Yes, the babies are good things in and of themselves. But to promote this as the norm, and it's just not, it's the base part of our culture. Again, the subculture is becoming the culture.
And I gotta say it again. I know you guys don't like for me to talk about faith-based stuff, But to me, it's a slap in the face for faith-based community. You have a large, so-called people, church people, faith-based community that continue to vote for these leftists. And you see here, Vivek Ramaswamy is supporting a family, being married, having your kids and things like that, which is supposed to be biblical marriage. And most of the black church votes Democrat, which is anti-biblical marriage, anti-family.
And they also have a lot of gay pastors up there too. So.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
They use the whole thing, God is love and love is love, under that to make excuses for this.
It's a distortion.
And so
Yeah,
it's manipulative as well.
Right.
Because now they're trying to make everyone else seem like, oh, this is the way it should be because we're just here to love each other because God wants us to love each other. But God also said it's abomination. There are
and
abominations
God
as well.
said, and if for Christians, Jesus said, "Do not sin." Like when they brought a sinner to him, he said, "Go and sin no more." He didn't say continue sinning.
Right, and that's the big issue that I have. It's just like, yes, people make mistakes. Yes, it's, no family is perfect.
Right.
But to actually, again, make this the culture and canonize this within our community as something to be applauded, and it's not right. It's not right. So again, just wanted to kind of compare those. If we do have any Democrats or any liberals watching, think about that. Yeah, think about that. Share this portion of the broadcast with your, I would say, faith-based liberal friends, because we have here on the conservative side candidates that are pushing family, pushing mom and dads in the home, we're supporting it, and the left is not, and you continue to vote for them. So I don't understand it. But another thing I don't understand is going overseas and acting a mess. And so this is what we have next. Take a look at this clip.
The last 2 months are described as terrifying for a Houston woman who we're told is being detained in Dubai.
Fox 26's Dominique Keith joining us live near downtown Houston with why she's being held. Dominique.
Well, the crime she's charged with may surprise you, and Dubai is increasingly becoming a vacation spot for a number of Houston women. One who's there right now, according to her social media page, is trying to get back to the Bayou City, but according to her mom, her passport has been confiscated because she was charged with screaming in public.
It also could result in prison time. So it's very scary.
The trip turned terrifying for Tiara Young Allen when her mom says she was a passenger in a friend's rental car and they got into an accident there in Dubai. Tina Baxter says when her daughter went to the company to retrieve her ID, credit card, and other items left in the rental, Baxter says it did not go well.
She found out that she could only receive those items if she paid an undisclosed amount of money. She dealt with a very aggressive individual, a young man there who was screaming at her.
Baxter says her 29-year-old daughter ultimately yelled back at the rental car agent, she says resulting in her being charged for screaming there in Dubai.
And so she is in jail for one reason and one reason alone. She raised her voice. In that country, a female is not even allowed to raise her voice. If she raises her voice, it's punishable by jail time.
It's been very emotional. There are some days I stay up all night crying.
They have a strict law system that is really based on theocracy.
This website warns, quote, laws and customs are very different, so be aware of your actions to ensure they don't offend while in United Arab Emirates. Now, after Baxter says her daughter was charged with screaming in Dubai, her passport has been taken, and the American social media influencer who works as a truck driver.
So I hope they put her under the jail.
They did.
Everybody under the jail.
You used to be a prosecutor.
Oh my God! I did an internship for the public defender. They told me to be the prosecutor's office, and I surely do, because you need to follow the law. You cannot. Maybe you know what? A lot of Americans need to go to places like this, and maybe they'll come back with a little bit of sense. Discipline, right. You cannot go to these other countries acting a fool acting a fool. If you're going to leave the confines of the United States, you need to go someplace else and understand their laws and customs and abide by them.
Okay, now let's talk about the facts. At least when what was presented, there was an accident.
True.
She got into an argument with I guess a male driver. Right, and so we do know that both of them were yelling at each other. Apparently, she was the only one taken into custody because, again, as that lawyer said, in those countries, UAE, a lot of the Muslim countries, they are more patriarchal than here in America.
What's the problem?
That's fine.
But so if that's the case, then both of them should have been locked up.
No, not by that law.
I'm about to say by their
Yeah.
law, but that doesn't mean that she should be under the jail.
Yes, she should. If you go somewhere else and don't follow the laws, you need to be
I
put in jail.
understand that every country
Don't
has
go
its
there.
laws.
Don't go
I am
there.
going there. I understand every country has its laws, but that does not mean that their laws are just.
It's not you to say. It's not you to say.
Yes, it is. I just said it. Yes, it is.
It's
I
not
just
for
said
you
it.
to
Yes,
say.
it is.
Well, you
if
say it
that's
there.
the case,
Go there
if
and
that's
say
the
it.
case, then it's not for
Go
you to
there
say
and say
something.
it.
You can. I
And
don't have
you
a
go
reason
to
to yell
jail.
there when I'm going.
Let me just say this.
Stay out of there.
Let me just say this.
Are you done?
This is a fine example that Black women need to learn how to shut up. Shut their mouths. And if you're going to go to Dubai, of all countries, please.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean, again, I get that that's their laws, but it doesn't mean that she should be jailed. I don't know what the term is.
By their laws.
By
their laws.
And they took her
That's like a
passport,
Brittany
but the
Griner.
guy gets away. Oh,
all
that's
the
bull.
facts. So from what I understood is that she was yelling at the employee of the rental company.
Right.
They were both yelling at
Okay,
from they
so
said.
hold on.
Yeah.
He is the employee. He is the owner, let's say, of this company. She apparently banged up the car, and he asked her to pay some money for it. I mean,
no, she left her things in the car, and
and
they wanted her to pay an undisclosed.
Well,
what she said,
probably because
amount
there were damages to the
get
car.
her stuff.
I mean, because she
To get her stuff out.
She get her stuff out.
I mean,
Same thing I told y'all.
so I don't know. The thing is,
I would be upset
the
about that
rules,
too.
No,
Exactly,
I
that's what I'm
understand.
saying.
This is
Upset about
very
that.
upsetting. This is very
Every
upsetting.
crime doesn't
Issue
mean
is she
jail.
got loud and
However,
she got indignant.
Let me
She
explain something.
She's probably doing what you're doing. Right
Thank you.
now. And then,
I'm
but in
America.
Dubai,
I know how to
I
act.
get it. I get
I know
what
how
you're
to
saying
act
in
in
Dubai.
Dubai.
I get it. I get what you're
Yeah, I
saying in
know how to
Dubai.
act in Dubai, and
I get it.
Let me say something. I'm acting this way because I'm with a bunch of loud and ignorant women like y'all. So I have to match you.
So for
But if
example,
I'm in Dubai, I'm gonna act the same way.
Right.
the guy got loud and ignorant with her. so she-
Exactly.
But
That's
I
all
know
I'm
it's
saying.
against the law for me to do this, and
She
I know I'm
probably did.
somewhere.
So guys, you don't know somebody know that all the
then
time.
she's an idiot.
You don't know that all the
She's
time.
an idiot.
And you're right, Tia. I get it that it's Dubai, but that doesn't mean that every crime, or I get it that it's Dubai, that she needs to go to jail. I don't know. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
She's in jail.
No,
now we
she's
do
in
not
jail.
know
Yeah,
whether
again,
we do
She's
not
gonna be there
know.
'cause that's the law of the land.
We do not know whether the guy yelled at her.
That's what this is what they said.
That's
on
what
there.
the mom
It's
said.
her attorney.
So of course, the mom is gonna say that. The attorney is gonna say that.
But that doesn't mean her mother's wrong.
Hold on.
That
Can
means
I?
she's right.
Can
It
I?
doesn't. It
See,
doesn't.
You are
It's her mom.
yelling now again.
That's what I know.
So
That's what she does.
now, when I travel to Belarus or Russia, right, I have to follow their laws, and because otherwise there might be consequences. Now, people over there might be some laws or rules that I do not agree with. But let me tell you, they're not going to yell those things at me. They're going to tell me. They're going to tell me very calmly that they need to see my phone and they need to see everything that's in my phone. And I can, for example, and I cannot say no.
But that's
Because
not what happened.
Exactly.
If I want to, if I need to cross, a border to go from one place to another, and they need to, check me out, the way that here would not be allowed. This would be, against my rights. But over there, I cannot.
that.
Yeah,
I
and
get
you
that.
know what? And I cannot be 100% sure that the guy yelled at her.
Can't be 100% sure that he
It's
did.
possible that he
None
was
of us
just
can.
telling her, "Look, we have a policy that if you forget,
You are just saying that
stuff,
because she's a black woman.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
because,
exactly why.
Let me
That's
tell you,
it.
we just
So white women probably wouldn't.
Let me tell you something.
Maybe and maybe not, but that doesn't mean that all black women
literally
you're
contradicting
No,
yourself.
I'm not. I said our culture. It doesn't mean that everyone in the culture would know it.
What does that mean? That means
it means that they had an argument, and because of their theocratic country, because of their theocratic majority, because of their theocratic culture, yes, those are devised laws. I get it. That does not mean that she should go to jail for X amount of time for that. That's what I believe.
I'm not even talking about black women. Most American women, primarily black women.
How many laws did you break today? How many laws did you break today?
May I finish, please?
How many laws did you break today? Yeah, how many laws did you break today?
See, this is what I'm talking about.
How many laws did you break today?
Shelley is not.
Most of these.
I can't.
Any what do you call it? Respect for authority, and especially women. American women, and this is why we have an epidemic of men going overseas for women, because they do not respect authority. They do not want to sit and shut up and listen.
So when are you gonna do it so T can talk?
I'm not finished. Here we are. Here, do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you see this? I must fall.
I'm just waiting on my turn.
None of us can finish.
I'm trying to wait on my turn.
Are you done?
So that is right. I do agree with you that black women, I just said earlier, don't know how to shut up and listen. However, there have been so many black women that have gone to Dubai and not had this type of situation. That's just one woman that we know of course. But it's not. You can't lump all black women that have gone to Dubai that act like this.
But I'm not lumping all of them, but most. Dubai is not visited not by
a lot of yes, they do.
The most people that visit Dubai are not black.
Yeah,
no, I didn't say
no,
that.
for tourists.
There are a lot of black women that go to Dubai.
Yeah, not American black women.
Yes.
They go in groups.
For tourists,
I know travelers that go all the time.
Yes, they do.
I know of some too, but what I'm saying is the majority of people that
tourists.
There are black women, but there are not a lot of black women. How many black women do you know personally that went to Dubai? Did you go?
I will be. I will be.
Did you go?
I will be. Doesn't matter. I will be.
Have you been to Dubai? Have you been to Dubai? Have you been to the Middle East?
No.
I have. Yes, I have been to the Middle
Where
East.
have you been?
I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Bahrain. I will be going to Dubai. I've been to Korea. I've been to Switzerland. Where else have I been? Yes, I have been. So I understand.
For vacation.
Work and vacation. I understand that there are laws that are different.
I've been to Qatar briefly. I went to the beach and I was told to cover up my stomach.
Okay.
So, and I didn't argue with them because that's the
But
rule.
that wasn't the point that she wasn't told to.
I'm just saying that you follow the rules.
They have much stricter laws.
I get that. But how many laws have we all broken today? Let's just say, because since everybody should be under the jail. Because
I didn't say that.
No, you said she should be under the jail.
She should be under the jail.
But here you shouldn't do it.
I said
if we break the law here, if we break the law,
I have to say that yelling doesn't solve a problem.
Say what?
Yelling doesn't solve problems, especially when you go to other countries like this, where yelling is going to get you even in the greater trouble. So I don't know why people in America, why some women in America think that yelling can solve any problem.
Let's
You were just yelling at me too.
Now she yelling again.
But what I'm going to say, you're going to Dubai. Just make sure that you keep your mouth closed when you get over there.
Don't yell. What would be a reason for me not to?
Don't yell.
Right. I have no reason to. My point is, I have no reason to. But my point is that I still don't think because it is their laws, I get that. It doesn't mean that I think it has to be a just law. But that people should be under the jail for something like that. I don't. I just don't think that way. I didn't say it's not going to change anything. I was expressing my opinion.
It's not.
What we're all
it's a
doing?
different country. Why can't it be the law?
I didn't say it couldn't be. I said I didn't agree with it that it has to be. I just don't agree with it. I didn't say it couldn't be. Obviously, it is their law.
I mean, honking. There are some laws in cities where you cannot honk.
Okay.
Your car.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
do you not?
Okay.
I mean, maybe someone is so loud.
There's laws in Saudi Arabia where they cut people's hands off for stealing. I don't believe in that either. I don't think that's right either.
I believe in it. I believe in it.
Yeah, they do it have that many deaths.
They do it in Singapore too, right? And there's not a lot of it. Actually, Matt Walsh was just talking about this earlier this year. He was talking about how you have these countries that have these types of laws, and you don't have the violence, you don't have the theft, You don't have the, what we have in our cities. People, they know that if you break the law, you will be severely punished. Severely. And a lot of these places have much lower crime rates. So that does it for us today. Yes, we are done. We are done. So we will continue to follow that story in Dubai. I would love to hear from them.
I think she's still in custody. Yeah,
they're gonna ask Biden to get her out, like Britney.
It did say that. So, yeah, she's been there for 2 months. She's been arrested there for 2 months.
She'll be a changed person when she comes.
Yes, she will.
She won't yell anymore.
So we'll continue to follow that story. Again, guys, if you've noticed or you're just joining us, we are live in the studio. Yes, we are. We are all here live in our studio.
They don't see all of us, Lloyd.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So this is going to be us for the next. We're going. We're going to be in the studio. So comment and tell us what you think. Yeah, we usually are at our desk, each in our respective homes. But we're here live, and this is how we're going to be for the next couple. Right, we do. Right, feet, yeah. So definitely thank you for joining us tonight. Again, this brings us to the end of our show.
Oh my God.
Continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. That way you get up-to-the-minute content when we post, and we appreciate the support. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, that makes our voice that much stronger. We are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com. Again, you can go there for up-to-date information. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
You got the